Dr. Winford James. He is, of course, a lecturer at the University of the West Indies. He is a columnist and he is a political analyst. Doctor, thank you so much for taking the time to join us, and good morning to you.
Good morning, and I find your metaphor intriguing, Rennie. Golden door, did you say?
A golden door, I did say. Yes, sir, I did. and it's good to start the morning with that wonderful chair I hear in your voice, because you look at the world and it gets so heavy sometimes. I'm looking this morning in Florida. They've got 20 people dead, 42 injured because of a shooting that took place in a nightclub there. And sometimes you look around and you see so much jade, you want to take your hand and pull your hair out.
Yes.
But it's good. It's good when I get such exuberance, such welcoming to life in the tone I hear from you this morning. Thank you so much for making the time to be with us this morning.
My pleasure.
Good enough. I had a couple of things that happened over the weekend, over the past week I want to touch on, but I will get to the issue of the Beetham Estate or Beetham Highway or Beetham Waterworks. Oh, something in the Beetham. I knew it had something to do with the dump, but we will get to that. Yes, the waterworks. Yes. I was being tongue-in-cheek on that, but I do want to start with the walkout that took place on Friday. I wonder, what is this, symbolic? I mean, I didn't see the issue being so paramount, such a major issue, such a big disagreement with the speaker to necessitate a walkout. Did you get a chance to look at that, and what's your feeling?
Yes, I mean, there isn't much detail in the reports, but it's all politics, and politics requires that we understand that different judgments are involved. The opposition will have their judgment on the issue in terms of its importance. Mm-hmm. The government will have its own views. And, of course, members of the public will have their own views about this matter. But it's politics, right?
Right. I usually expect something of a major nature for an opposition to walk out.
The question is who determines what is major. The opposition, Kamala Bissessa, the leader of the opposition, says that the question of the spike in the murder rate, what she calls the unprecedented, quote-unquote, spike in the murder rate, is something for urgent debate, and also access to the children's fund is also an important thing, especially as she claims several children have died. At least one name have died because the government is waiting for a definition before they can have access to the fund. So loss of life for Kamala Bissessa, to the extent that it can be tied to the non-access to the fund, is a major issue. Now, I don't know that the government does not think so either. The government may very well have the view, and I would be surprised if the government did not have that view.
That it is a spike, yes. But you know...
No, that is important. Urgent debate. I don't know that it's Kamala alone who is concerned about the death of children. All of us are, right? But she's politicizing it. She's saying the non-access to it, we must debate that, because non-access to the funds is in the meantime causing children to die. Now, I don't know that that connection can be made, but a politician can make that point, if you follow what I'm saying.
Well,
because who knows what the causes are when children die?
Yes.
But the point is, we must allow that. If we can help children as quickly as we can, that's the better thing to always do. You follow what I'm saying? Whether you have a fund or not.
That is always the intent of folks to do that. But, again, the reasons are varied. I mean, even the governance of the body, even the functioning of the body, the competence or lack thereof, the nepotism of the body. There are many variables to look at.
That's the point I'm making.
Yes, it is not just about...
So it's not simply a matter of accessing the fund. It's the circumstances under which you access. The question of whether there are emergency funds elsewhere that could be accessed. If children's situation is so dire, but we must all be concerned about taking care of our children. If we can't take care of our children, there's no point of building a civilization.
I find it very curious, Doctor, very curious that at this time, everyone's looking for an answer immediately. My general view on this has always been, listen, everything is important, some things are more immediate. And I think in recognition of that, the first thing you have to do is assess where you are. More and more, you're turning over things that are going to tell you, listen, we are all important, put us on the front burner. I'm reading this morning where the head of the construction industry, the president of the organization, saying, for instance, $2 billion is owing to them, $1 billion of what was owing since 2010 was not paid attention to. And in the period ensuing from 2010 to 2015, an additional $1 billion was put on top of that. That now is a very important thing because it has effects heading down to the labor market and a lot of suppliers and a lot of people. So there are a lot of things that are important. I am just always confused when people say it's important, but it must be given priority above all else. But that does not happen.
But you see, there's also self-interest. There's the news reporters like yourself have to pay attention to all the facts. The politician or those who are seeking their own interests don't have to. It's whatever they can say that can get them traction. But people like me who comment have to have as much information, as many facts as we can, you follow, in order to make a judgment to the extent that we ourselves are not politicized. Now, you know that I am not partisan in any way. I mean, if I have the information, I base my judgment on the information. So yes, I understand that people could go frantic, people could go ballistic about monies owed to them. The opposition party can say, look, here's an insensitive government. Why? Because it suits their agenda. But to go back to the reason why the speaker turned down the request from Kamala Prasad, because that is the reason given for their walking out. The speaker not allowing debate on two issues. The first, of course, is the non-access to the children's fund, government, and children, they claim that children are dying as a result. That's one. And two, the question of the spike in the so-called unprecedented spike in the murder rate. What I understand the speaker to have said is, look, you are filing your request under the wrong standing order, something that the government, the opposition knows about. Why don't you come back and file it correctly under the right standing order? That the speaker did not say we are not going to debate it, but we cannot debate it in the way that it has been filed. So file it properly. That's the first thing. And the opposition did not deny that they had filed the request under the wrong standing order. So we got to pay. That's politics. Sak Marad says it's the first time for him that the opposition has demonstrated that it knows that it's an opposition and it is doing opposition things. Before they were behaving as if they thought they were still in government. Just saying that because it comes up. So the government, the opposition is playing politics as we expect them to. It is for us now to assess the points that they are raising and putting before our attention to see if there's merit in those points. And so your listening audience should pay attention to that. I mean, did the speaker in saying, no, we can't debate this now because those requests are improperly filed, yes? Or should the government have dropped everything and paid attention to what the opposition was saying and have the debate there and then? You follow?
Well, one thing happened is that it made sure that we made some news, and I wonder sometimes if politics on a Friday is not a good thing that you try to put something in that you make the news for the weekend.
Okay, that's part of it too. But remember that the opposition is in the wilderness for the long haul. So it's not as if they are going to get immediate and clear positive feedback for their stance. And it's not as if all their supporters or starting supporters are going to agree. But it is the way of politics, and it's the way of politics in Trinidad and Tobago. A mere walkout is going to bring attention to an issue.
It is exactly 12 minutes after 10 o'clock. My guest is Dr. Winford James. He is a university lecturer and a political analyst. I will not let it pass that you did say the opposition will be in the wilderness for a long time. You didn't say 5 years. Was that a Freudian slip?
Well, no, it was
I
deliberate,
just wondered.
but I didn't necessarily mean beyond the first 5 years.
Okay. I was just pulling your legs on that.
Their term of wilderness is determined by the law already, not me. The law says for the 5 years they could be in the opposition, the wilderness.
I opened the trap door.
And that's one term.
Yes, understood.
It could go on, but I was referring to the current status under the new government parliamentary term.
I was merely trying to get you into some place that you didn't want to go.
Yes,
as we say in the vernac, I try a thing.
Yes, and I was not engaging in wishful thinking either.
I will let that slide. Indeed, I want to go across to this situation that I found really troubling. Troubling because a senior counsel. When a senior counsel makes a statement, usually we stop and we say, "Whoa, second look at this. This is a senior counsel." And the senior counsel Mirage made a statement that, in fact, the frozen order from the High Court freezing the assets of SIS was no longer in force. He said they weren't frozen. He said there are aspects of it that were not fulfilled, and because those requisites were not fulfilled, the assets were, in fact, unfrozen. The newspaper ran with that story. It went before the judge, and the judge says, listen, this thing stays in place. I am taking a bit that such a thing can be reported without checks and balances, because almost the same day it was published, the folks at the National Gas Company came out and said, hey, this is not so. This is one person's interpretation.
You know, sometimes you have to create news on the fly or report news on the fly while you're doing your research. So I'm not one of those who will blame the press for carrying the story.
But if you go in front page, I would think you would want to do some balancing.
No. It depends on what you say. If you are reporting what a senior counsel claims, and that is clearly stated, to my mind, that is very fine.
What would it not be more accurate if you said, for instance, senior counsel claims SIS?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
But that should be the runner. Senior counsel claims SIS
I don't know the exact
is
form
unfrozen.
of words, but the substance of what you're saying, yes, I agree. Yes, in other words, you don't know for sure, but you are saying this is a claim being made by senior counsel. But you're not presenting it as if you have done the research and you have determined that it is indeed so. Sometimes you simply don't have the time, as you know, and in the media, you don't have the time to check everything before you publish. But if you so state what you are publishing in a way that exonerates you or makes you look responsible, that, to my mind, is permissible. So if the statement was associated with a claim, not merely a citation from, but a claim made by senior counsel, to my mind, that is fair and above board.
Fair enough.
I don't remember exactly what the headline said.
It said SIS assets unfrozen.
Yeah, but they should have said in some line below.
It did.
You know how the press does it, some small print, some smaller print. Claims senior counsel. No, I don't know if that is anywhere on the page. I don't remember now. But that would be okay until you check it. You follow? And you can now say things more definitively.
I follow what you're saying. We're talking
and
about
not only that, you know, when you get a statement that contradicts it, you should give it the same prominence that you gave the first one.